Hey folks, I hope so you are doing fine. I am waiting for other folks to join, but yeah, thanks folks for joining. I guess it's our second last stream. So I hope so you are excited for last two stream. And again, we are also going with a giveaway kind of thing. So from any of the stream, if you write a blog on it and share maybe resources, what's your whole experience around whole stream, we will basically give away one GitHub tea to you actually. And again, GitHub is basically GitHub is sponsoring this event. So thanks GitHub for that. A small shout out to them actually. And apart from it, tomorrow will be another WASM based stream will be there with a organization called WASM basically. So we will I will talk about around that thing later, but I hope so everyone is doing fine. Let me check. Cool. It's going great, cool. So more on it, I guess there is one person I really admire a lot, because I get an admiration from while I'm been in community since 3 to 4 years now, I am guessing. But I get into club with this person from open source thing basically, and I really admire the knowledge he has. It's one of the most admiration part that I actually got from him. So one and only, one of my mentor, through virtual I can say, and those who watch the Twitch stream, they pretty much know around it. But one of my mentor, Saiyam Pathak, here it is. Hi
Hey
Saiyam,
friend.
how are you?
Hey, hi Karthikeya. Glad to be here.
Great. So we will start off on pod, but again, there's one question that I already asked for every stream in a podcast of mine. What's your definition about open source? Even though you didn't need a definition around it because you are doing so much awesome work around it. But yeah, what's your definition about open source? Yeah.
I think open source is has become pretty interesting stuff lately. So yeah, as Karthikeya mentioned, I'm Saiyam Pathak. I am working as a field CTO at Civo. Civo is a cloud provider that provides you cloud services, compute, volume, storage, Kubernetes, and stuff like that. And apart from that, I am a CNCF ambassador. I also have a YouTube channel where I teach cloud native technologies called Kubesimplify. We'll maybe talk about that later. I don't know how many streams have you covered and how much they have covered with respect to open source. But if you ask me, open source is something, the shareable code that you're sharing with the community. So basically it's let's say you write a piece of software and you just want to let your audience or your customers or the community know that this is how this particular piece of software is working, and you just make the code public, and that's open source. So I mean, ideally that's open source, and you don't have to have maintain it. I'm just giving you a very different definition here. You are not responsible to maintain the application. I mean, that's a true definition of open source. Why? And that's also in my opinion. Okay, so don't brag on internet that Saiyam says this is open source. Yeah, it's I say it, but I also say that it's my own my version of it. Why is that? Because I have a piece of software. I just wanted you to know, and I open sourced it. Like I made it public, and I don't have to maintain it because I just wanted to share what I have written. Now, if my motive is different and I have to build a community around it, then probably I will maintain the software. I'll take up the issues. I'll take up
Yep.
the pull request, and I'll create a whole community around it. And that's a different game. um, and then there is a licensing game. So you have different set of licenses that you apply. There are license changes as well, which the community gets very offended with when you get so much adoption and then suddenly there is a license change. It has happened with HashiCorp recently, if you don't know. uh,
Yep.
so and anything that you want to share, your code, your stuff, your software, little piece of software, automation scripts, and you're open sourcing it, that's open source.
Great. I guess a lot of resemblance around open source, because again, everyone have a different perspective about open source. But that's what I know. Like I learned through open source. Like it's just my thing. Like for around, like if you are an engineer, maybe if you're a mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, you have to go to in-person thing. But as a computer science engineer who loves to code, it's you just need a laptop and an internet to basically to get an industry level experience through maybe through open source. That's the power that open source always give to us. But let's start off. Maybe let's talk about Cube Simplify as of that. What is Cube Simplify? Can you elaborate it? And if anyone is student or not student also, like if anyone wants to join that community. But yeah, let's start off with what is Cube Simplify. Yeah.
Sure. So Cube Simplify, like if you go to cubesimplify.com, I'm sharing with you in the chat. So you can share. So Cube Simplify was formed uh, to solve one mission, which is simplifying cloud native for everyone. So that was something Cube Simplify was started as. Another thing that Cube Simplify was actually, the story is that I wanted to I got a lot of requests that I am learning so and so. So previous to this, Cube Simplify channel was in my name, like it was Saiyam Pathak, and all the videos were there. Okay, people were learning from me. So people are learning from me, and I kept on getting messages, DMs, that we what to do once we learn certain topic, like how to implement that, how we can create
Yeah.
projects and stuff like that. So Cube Simplify was born for creation of projects. Like I wanted to provide a platform to have and different set of projects where community can come together, do some R&D, research, architecture, create those, and then build that into the project. Like I'll give you the vision, I'll give you the project, I'll give you the breakdowns, and then the community, the interested folks will come together and they'll create a project. We do have very dope couple of projects that I'll definitely talk about. But yeah, that was the vision. And then slowly and slowly uh, we had the ambassadors program.
Yep.
We got community really excited. We have now, I think, 3,000 plus members on our Discord. So if you go to cubesimplify.com/discord, it's a Discord channel all around the world. Professionals, students, they all are in this community. I rebranded my YouTube channel to Cube Simplify for better, the community aspect of it, keeping it more, you say, just like you have cloud agnostic Kubernetes. So similar to that, you have, it's not depend on me. It's the overall community that is, making Cube Simplify successful. So that's why I rebranded. Although 99.9% videos are mine, but but still, it's Cube Simplify. So that's the I definitely, in future, the plan is to have more contributors even for the YouTube channel on Cube Simplify. Just as you have a free code camp and people go on free
Yep.
code camp and teach um, dope stuff similar to that, I want to make it, but only niche it will be that it's cloud native Kubernetes and WebAssembly related, but it'll be
Yep.
like none other channel. So, and it is already, because the content you find on Cube Simplify YouTube, you like, it's very hard to create and to get that, because you need to constantly learning. You have to be a constant
True.
learner, and then you have to be really at the edge. Like cutting edge. Another thing we started was Kubesimplify blogs. So if you go to blog.kubesimplify.com, you'll see more than, like, I don't know how many are there, but definitely more than 100 plus blogs with more than 200K views, which is 2 lakh views, greater than 2 lakh views. Some of, like, again, contributed by different folks all around the globe, by professionals, by people who are learning, people who have certified, and different stuff on different technologies. We also laid out a very deep foundations of how the blog should be structured. So there is this whole how you structure the blog and things like that. And then the Discord is that if you want to join the Discord, you can just go to kubesimplify.com/discord. Hopefully it redirects you to the Discord. If it doesn't, then let me know. I'll create the new invite link. It should work, hopefully. And then, so the project part, we started off with the website project. So there was one project which was website, like how to create a website. Then, in that also, a lot of people took part. Like, it was not me who created it. So a lot of ideologies, a lot of design work, then implementation work. Then we migrated kubesimplify.com to blog.cube, like the blogs directly from Hashnode to blog.kubesimplify.com. It's still powered by Hashnode, but we changed the subdomain and pointed it to Hashnode. And then we rewrote the entire website, and now we possibly will be rewriting it again for next year. And then we started with one, I think Twitter bot was there. That was cool. The Twitter bot was one of the projects. Let me just quickly check what was the other set of projects. Workshop content, yeah, that was there. Branding, yeah, we have branding, tweets. So we wanted to automate the tweets, so we had tweets that was created, and a lot of folks contributed over there. And then we had workshops that I did, Kubesimplify workshop, so all the content is over there. And then there is this workshop, yeah, tweet winner. So I think last year I did a Christmas giveaway for, like, I don't know, 15 20 Udemy courses. And for that, I chose from the Twitter tweet randomly, like the person who have liked and retweeted the tweet. So I took the numbers and then did that. So I think that was also a fun project, and I did it live. And then we had the visual guides. So we created different visual guides.
So sorry to ping you down. Harsh is saying, can you please screen share if possible, so that
I mean, I'm just reading out kubesimplify.com, sorry, github.com/kubesimplify. So it's nothing that a fancy I'm reading. Um, we tried different initiatives. Some worked, some didn't. Like the Instagram one, we tried because there is young generation, Gen Z, that is also linked to me, but that didn't work out the way we expected. But yeah, anyways, we tried that.
there's one more
Now,
question from others. Out of context, will community be able to contribute in rebuilding the website? Will it be open
why not?
source?
Why not? If it's open source now also, like it's there. So if Karthike, you want to share the screen, probably you can
Sure.
share this one, because I have, like, I don't want to say out the
Crazy
numbers.
stuff.
I just say I have 500 plus tabs open, and I don't want to risk anything for now, and I don't want to close stuff for now. I'll clean up over the weekend. But yeah, if you can open
Cool,
this,
cool.
this is one of the one that Karthike, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right,
Yeah.
is will be sharing, is one of the dope projects that some of the people within the Kubesimplify community are working. It's
Yeah.
basically a Golang CLI based on Cobra, and it has docs, it has CLI, it has a lot of things. Like, it's proper open source projects in the cloud native ecosystem that you see. It helps you create and manage Kubernetes clusters on different cloud providers. So what happens is, like, you have AWS, you have EKS. For GCP, you have GKE. For Azure, you have AKS. For Civo, you have Civo Kubernetes. All of them have
Yeah.
their own CLIs that you install on the systems. You create those via the APIs and stuff like that. Uh, KSCTL is a unified CLI. So I'm telling you the mission statement. KSCTL is a unified CLI that helps you create and manage your Kubernetes clusters in any cloud provider. So you can create and manage a managed Kubernetes cluster in Civo, or a managed Kubernetes cluster in AWS, or a managed Kubernetes cluster in Azure. That should work. Plus, it also, now managed Kubernetes cluster is basically where you typically do not get access to some of the resources like the control plane and stuff like that. But if you need absolute control of your Kubernetes cluster, and you still want an easy way to set up a HA Kubernetes cluster, that also uh, KSCTL helps you. So KSCTL creates your compute instances, and on those compute instances, it install HA clusters based on K3s, and kubeadm is in progress. So it creates those HA Kubernetes clusters, give you the complete access to it, and then, and that is again on any cloud provider, because this sits on compute, so you should be able to
Yeah.
use it.
There is a
So
question from Harsh. Saiyam, do you use Golang frequently?
Not really. I basically use stuff for my demos, and I personally do not get involved in very heavy coding stuff for the past, like, a year or so, because I have, like, obviously my demos include whatever the stuff they include. I think it's mostly Python, less of Golang. Yeah, but when I'm writing operators, it's definitely Golang. So any operator related Kubernetes operator related stuff, I use Golang. Anything that I personally use for demo, I mostly use Python. And yeah, I think these are the two that I use. But this project is good. Yeah, I have built using Cobra previously. That's why I know Cobra well. So Cobra is something that I have used previously, but uh, this was again started off as very small thing, so that community can get together and build something. But very soon, a few folks really got interested in this, and they have created a lot of things. Special shout out to Dipankar, who has been leading it along the way and have created very heavy code contributions, like almost driven the project. And this has been really really good. I would say, actually, Dipankar has learned, while creating this project, he has learned more than what he would have learned, or anybody, typically anybody would learn in 2 years time working in a job. And I think he's still in college. So I mean, that's how people are working. That's how Gen Z should work, in my opinion. So if
Yeah.
you, like, the competition is hard. There are many students that are associated, with me, and who keeps on asking me different bunch of questions, how to contribute, how to learn different things and stuff like that. I think building projects, contributing to major contributions in these projects, can really level up your game. The thing is, you have to be very confident in what you are learning and what you're doing in any, be it any field. Like, let's say you are targeting maybe DevOps engineer, but for that, whatever tech tools and technology you are learning, you have to learn it pretty well, because the competition is pretty high. Anything that you learn. So yeah, 10 years before, or let's say 7 years before, if you would have said that Kubernetes and Docker, you are in the cream, like you are in those folks who are limited edition kind of, and you'll get easy
Yeah.
jobs and easy high salaries packages. Now we are in 2023. It's these technologies are decade old. So a decade old stuff is not new. And if you say I know Kubernetes and stuff, it's okay, everybody knows it. What else so you have to have on by staying on the edge, you have to learn a lot. So the only shortcut to success is keep learning and hard work. So if you're doing that, contributions and stuff to open source, I think it obviously it doesn't guarantee you job, and those who guarantee job is baseless. Is That's not true.
Yep.
No one can guarantee the jobs, but it opens a lot of doors for you either in terms of learning, contribution, or jobs, all three. So it opens a lot of opportunities. Definitely, that is one thing I definitely agree and can say it loud.
Cool then. I hope so you got that. And if anyone wants to basically get into WebAssembly also, I guess I get a reference that thing from one of my mentors. Like there is a in 2008 C++ conference which basically talk about WebAssembly. You can go to that, and also WASM IO. Last year WASM IO is one of the best conference I can listen to that, because they actually talk about the legacy code, how the legacy code actually built on that basis. I guess there is one talk by, I'm not remembering one talk by the name of the speaker, but he actually talks about there is a Chrome project. I guess native client project is working on the project that Google is working on, a kind of a sandbox kind of thing, which is kind of WebAssembly. And after that, they find out the solution to that is WebAssembly. Actually, I'm not remembering the name of the speaker, but you can get a lot of insights from that conference. And I guess this year also we are having. So yeah, but let me stop sharing from here. Cool. And yeah, cool. So let's talk more about it. If anyone wants to become ambassador for Cube Simplify, like after applying, yeah, what are is there any criteria to basically apply for it? Or like, because many people ask me like, bhaiya, I want to be a part of Cube Simplify ambassador program, but I don't know. I just say literally apply for it. But
I don't
is there any
know.
criteria?
Even I don't know. Short answer is even I don't know. So that's very funny. So the thing is, see, I definitely started Cube Simplify, but it's not mine anymore. It's you know, um, there are people in Cube Simplify who have ownerships for different sections. And when I say ownership, it's kind of complete ownership. Like I don't interfere in their decisions. I don't interfere in anything. If they own it, they own it. I don't own it, and I don't want to because I have so many other stuffs to do. Uh, and one thing was the ambassador program. So I actually don't own the ambassador program, and that's why when people ask me, I don't have an answer. There is like I don't know what ambassador program is we have as of now, but I don't think we are like taking any ambassadors as of now. But I have like I want to do something for 2024 and have a new revamped ambassador program, and see what we can do, how many ambassadors we can get. See that the only issue is one of the major benefits that I see for the ambassador. The issue is, or I would say the benefit, or whatever you want to call it, uh,
Yeah.
when there is ambassador program, there has to be something in for Cube Simplify. Like there should be some
Yep.
benefits that Cube Simplify is getting as a community, like regular growth and sharing of posts and um, writing blogs, creating content, and all those things. Again, everything is volunteer effort. Okay, so it's not anything is anybody is getting paid or anything like that. Second thing is the people who become the ambassadors, they should be able to learn. I mean, uh, it should be a give both ways. Like it should not be a
Yep.
take both ways. So we always have to
Yes.
be thinking from that mindset. Funny thing is, I have some ambassadors, very few. Like I say very few because I have some ambassadors, but only very few are the ones who are actually working hardcore for Cube Simplify. Okay,
Yep.
like I can name a few of them, maybe who are on the top of the head, like KSCTL, Dipankar, killing it. Pratik is getting involved in KCTL and managing some other shop. Srinivas, Bhavya, they are doing this newsletters, like managing LinkedIn completely.
Yep.
Then you have Vedansh and a couple of folks over there managing the entire Twitter stuff. Then you have Kunal managing the entire Discord and other overall strategies for Discord, what's coming next. Then you have Pavan, who laid out the strategy for blogs. So again, I might be missing. So sorry, ambassadors, if I forgot you. Uh, but yeah, like these are some of the people who have owned, some sections. Yes, Saiyam, one of our web developers, he owns the a lot of web. development stuff. Then there are a lot more folks like Arnav has contributed a lot. Bishal has contributed a lot in terms of blogs. Like different people have contributed a lot along the journey, and where we are. I think we grew really fast
Yeah.
as compared to overall communities, if I say, because we wrote 100 blogs. I know the blogs are pretty low as of now. Since August, we haven't published anything because like people were busy. People have like there are ambassadors who are professionals, then there are ambassadors who are also students. So my worry is that's why I don't get involved in ambassador program. My worry is people get involved in too many ambassador programs and too many
Yeah.
communities, and then they fail to kind of contribute big time into a single community.
True.
And I don't blame them. See, there can be different perspectives because of which a person is trying to join a community. So if a person is trying to join a community, completely fine. They want to learn and go, completely fine. But the thing is, you should like respect the community, and you should be respectful of the even if you leave and stuff like that. But yeah, ambassador program, let's rethink. Thank you for bringing this up. Let's rethink the ambassador program for 2024. I'll try to
Yeah.
talk with some of the current ambassadors and the area owners within Kubesimplify, what we can do, what benefits we can provide, what benefits we can expect from them for Kubesimplify, and then let's see if we can create a program, and then we'll roll out. You can apply and stuff like that.
Cool, great. I just want to share one thing that obviously I'm a part of many programs. I see a lot of. I'm not saying I have utilized. I can say on that thing I used. If I am part of any program, I try to use those program in a more learning perspective way, if I will say. Like I'm a part of MLSA, maximum are MLSAs, but they are not using the credits that you're getting like $100 credits every month. Like you're not able to, you didn't have a understanding how to create a Azure VM instance, like the basic. You are not able because you are not used those resources. Same thing with if you're a GitHub campus expert, you have a lot of, you have a pro version of GitHub. You also have you have also a different perspective of using those things. Maybe if you're a pro, you have a pro version of GitHub. I guess you have also, if if you're creating any CI/CD pipeline through GitHub Action, you have a lot of better in that thing. They're already if your college have a GitHub school which have an enterprise plan of GitHub, you can use it, but you can't use you never use that basically. Which if you are maybe creating any project, if you want to deploy something and it takes a lot of maybe money around it, GitHub you are providing is free, but you are not using those programs to maybe if anyone is saying I am not able to create projects around it. And at the end of the day, my just take here is if you are part of community, just don't think what that community is giving to you. Just think like maybe if I will say just be selfish on that thing around the self about the learning part. You are getting a lot of learning through that community. And at the end of the day, please do not join every community. There's a thing, try to go on those meetups only where you have a common agenda to learn of. Otherwise, networking is okay for a moment, I can say, but it basically what I will say, demystify the learning process of your brain, I guess. So please do not just go for the sake of it for going for that. Yeah, that's I can say. Oh, yeah. Uh, cool. Maybe let's maybe jump on Sayyam for WASM part. Maybe is anything. First of all, maybe if you want to give a small intro about WebAssembly in general way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, WebAssembly is cool, man. We did a WebAssembly wave in India, and after that, I have
Yep.
seen many folks in India excited, working towards it, contributing, and that was the mission. And I feel super successful that that happened, and it happened in a way that many folks from India have started learning, contributing, and they are even getting the job. So I think that's what
Yep.
it is, right? Like there's a technology, you learn it, you try to grab those opportunity at that particular moment. So I think those are the
Yep.
areas that you need to bank on, especially for the students. So as students, you need to understand a lot of things. There is content on YouTube, but not all content is worth consuming on YouTube. Like there is There is so much content that till you die you can watch a new video every second, every day. So I
Yeah.
mean, that much level of content is there, but that doesn't mean you have to watch a video or whatever, that is everything, like of every genre. Like, you have to be very selective. And also, um, life as it is a gift. I'll come to your wasm question as well, but life
Yeah.
as it is a gift. So we all have 24 hours. We have to find a purpose why we are
Yeah.
here, and within that 24 hours you have to be very selective on what you scroll, what you watch. Because if you do doom scrolling, if you keep watching just random stuff, and if you keep scrolling random stuff on Twitter, LinkedIn, get excited by useless things, fancy cars, fancy homes, whatever that is, and then just sit and smile and see, I don't think that's going to help you individually.
Yeah.
What is going to help you individually is you learning more and more, you identifying the path that you have to take, you creating the path that you have to take to become successful, to be at that particular level. You cannot copy paste anybody else's path. What works
Yeah.
well for one doesn't work well for another. That's a fact. And you cannot blindly copy paste it. You can see and you can say, okay, fine, that person is there and I want to be there, and maybe in 2 years, and I'll try to figure out what it takes to be at that particular position. If not, then maybe try editing your paths, try editing your learning curve, and then you start searching. Howsoever big an influencer, see, influencer game is pretty useless. Even a person with million followers can talk baseless stuff, and you don't have to agree anything that they say, right? You don't have to blindly follow stuff if it is said by a 20 million follower, 5 million follower, 1 million follower person. Why you should? I mean, you have brains, right? And you have access to internet, which is massive. Like, you have factual access to so many things, which back like 15 years ago there was nothing. The amount of info, why generative AI is hit? Because of the amount of information. Is the technology brand new? No, these things have been there for ages, but now we have the data. You might have heard
Yep.
data is the new gold. It is. Now you see the generative AI. That's why we said data is the new gold, because that's where generative AI becomes successful. Large language model became successful. You have the data,
Yeah.
you have trained it, you have stuff. But so thoughtfully, whatever you are watching, whatever you're doing in your day, you have to think very carefully what you are doing with your life, and whom you are following, whom you are taking guidance from, which video you are watching. Not every video on the internet is true. So you have to do your own research. And even, like, I don't say watch my videos and stuff like that. Even don't watch my, like, watch my video if you feel that you're learning something, or if you want to cross check if I'm not telling anything wrong. There is documentation always there. Try to cross verify. Try just, you need to think from different angles. So that's where WebAssembly came in, when I wanted to make this wave happen in India, and make sure we are doing, uh, I mean, we are early in India, and there is enough reach within the community that people know that there is something called WebAssembly, and I can think we can learn about it. The technology is not new. WebAssembly wave started in 2023. WebAssembly is very old. It's like 2015 era, and the Vazi came in 2019. So you can see
Yep.
we are still not cutting edge. But I was, and you can see on Cube Simplify 2 years back there was a talk on WebAssembly as well. Like, we had multiple sessions for WebAssembly 2 years back. So I have been involved in this for a long time now, with my friends, Connor Hikes from Suborbital. Suborbital is now part of F5. So these were the kind of early startups. Wasmer you talked about, right? So
Yep.
that um, his their founder also was one of the first ones to pen down some of the initial stuff. Bytecode Alliance, Tim and folks, Bailey, Cosmonic, these folks for Wasm Edge,
Yep.
folks from this, what you said, Second State, Fermion. I mean,
Yep.
people are doing great stuff in this. Now the thing is education. So the education part is something that obviously I love, and I like to learn, and then try to process that learning in a pipeline and then give it away. And that's what we
Yep.
did. So WebAssembly is basically, a compilation target. So let's say you have written a code in C++ or Rust. So you have written a code. Now you compile the code. So when you compile the code, when you compile the code to WebAssembly, there will be a specific binary instruction set. So that instruction set will be different instruction set, which is a universal bytecode. So that will be a universal bytecode that can run on any machine, which is platform agnostic. What do I mean by that? Take your Mac, take your Windows, take your any different set of laptops, Linux, ARM, and then you have WebAssembly runtime on it, and it will run the WebAssembly module. You don't have to compile. But that's not the real power of WebAssembly. I mean, though it is said to be the real power of WebAssembly, but in my opinion, again, that's not the real power, because the compilers give you enough flexibilities these days to hyphen target to different
Yep.
architectures. Docker you can target to different architectures. Although, yeah, you have to do some repetitive steps, but it's not that heavy or that difficult job. But yeah, that's one of the benefit. One of this interesting benefit is the secure sandboxing. So WebAssembly runs your code in secure sandbox. Now that's very important, because when WebAssembly was started, why people wanted to do WebAssembly? So there were apps. People were doing these, writing apps and giving to you, and then those same folks wanted their apps to be run on browsers, because browsers was the next big thing. People wanted,
Yep.
we are, everybody's on browsers, so we need everything, whatever we have as a desktop application or mobile application, on the browsers. So that's where they wanted to port their code. Their code is not HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Their code is C, C++, or whatever language that is. They tried multiple stuff, ASM.js and different alternatives. There were different efforts before. None of them had the complete pure language agnostic, platform agnostic, such approach, like write in any language, compile to a single target, and then run on any browser platform. So right now, V8 engines on your browsers run WebAssembly pretty well with respect to the web APIs which are defined, and then you should be able to pretty much do stuff with WebAssembly, instantaneous startup time. So that's why it powers the
Yep.
next generation serverless. Machine learning inferencing is something which is getting very popular in the next
Yep.
wave of WebAssembly. You're already seeing Firmware is already providing the AI inferencing. WASM Edge,
Yep.
I also tried that. I have a demo of that. So that's pretty much WebAssembly is. And now um, the server side of things, obviously, with respect to specifications and stuff like that, you need secure sandboxing, you need all those things. You need the similar tooling, so Docker, coming into the picture, simplifying
Yep.
the developer experience, so that you can still use the same tooling of Docker even to deploy your WebAssembly workloads. And then Kubernetes also is becoming mainstream in deploying WebAssembly workloads. Cloud providers are coming in to provide support for that. So yeah, a lot of things going on around WebAssembly. CNCF recently launched at WASMCon the WebAssembly landscape that you can check on landscape.cncf.io. Yeah, pretty much, like, obviously I can't talk WebAssembly in that short time. But yeah, that's a gist of
Yep.
what WebAssembly is, where we are, and a lot of stuff that is going around. Very nice time to get involved.
Also, just for the folks, WebAssembly community group is also there. So there is a regular meetups, like what are the changes coming up for the WebAssembly. What you can go for it, go to the GitHub section. There's a discussion part of where they actually putting out the links. You can just ask, you can just invite on a community group, just send a mail like I want to be part of this meeting, kind of that, and you can do and part what the new updates coming around that thing. And for the ML inference, obviously I contributed to WASM Edge and TensorFlow.js. So the recently part that kernels part came into play in TensorFlow that you are using on the web part. Basically, the maximum kernels are contributed by me. So generally, like that's a concept. That's why I get into the insights. Like I feel very blessed around that. Like the time sequencing with TensorFlow.js, when I get into the program, I just get that this is a WebAssembly. There's something called WebAssembly around that. But yeah, that's cool.
I mean, even
There's
now it's not
also
late. Even now it's not
yeah,
late. So anybody watching the stream or watching the recording later on, definitely get your hands dirty with WebAssembly, Rust.
yeah,
Rust is pretty mainstream. Rust is being
true.
used a lot in the new set of projects. So I think Rust is something, if you are learning and you want to build something, try to build in Rust.
Yeah,
Plenty of job opportunities, like
yeah,
classy, a very very niche stuff is being built. So there is, like, there are a lot of things, man. In programming also, there's bunch of stuff that is happening. Even in cloud native, there is bunch of stuff that is happening.
yeah,
Sustainability side, bunch of stuff is happening. WebAssembly side, bunch of stuff is happening. Don't get overwhelmed with too much of technology. I would say, if you are the Gen Z, um, try to consume and work on the fundamentals, and then
yeah,
from there on you pick up whatever stuff excites you the most, I would say.
yeah. Cool. There's also, I'm guessing so. Yeah. So more about it. For CNCF in general, like many students say, like Kubernetes is kind of for like here in my community, like many peeps says the same thing. Like भैया, there is Kubernetes ये तो बड़े लोग के लिए, it's not for us. We didn't have a foundational till now. How we even contribute to Kubernetes like a big project, even though it's one of the biggest project in the GitHub actually. So like, is any tips or what's your take around it? Like maybe anyone who's from first to second year, they're just learning around coding. So is it okay to like, is it they able to contribute in Kubernetes? Because sig meets have a kind of a bounce, if even though if they are joining the sig meets or like any product meets around it, many folks for them maybe a bouncer for them because they really understand the architecture around it. So what's your take on it, Sayam?
See, the thing is, I mean, you don't have to learn everything to contribute to Kubernetes. If you try to learn everything, then probably a couple of years goes by and you still are not contributing. Similar to that, you don't need to understand entire Golang to contribute to
Yep.
Kubernetes. You need to see, there's an approach called learn by doing. So whatever is necessary to accomplish that task, if you learn that, sufficient enough.
True.
Now, I personally have not done, many contributions. There are a few PRs that I have done for Kubernetes and stuff. There are a few groups that I have joined, mainly the auto scaling one and a couple of others, when I was working in Walmart, because those was the key. And why? Because those were the key areas that I was working at that time at Walmart. So again, combining it to my work, and then trying to get involved in the community. The issue here is, Kubernetes is big. Okay, we all know that. But there are a lot of SIGs within Kubernetes. There's a SIG CLI. Just focus on the CLI. There's a SIG machinery. Just focus on the machinery aspects. There's a SIG contribx that are focus on the community aspect. So there are different SIGs, which is the special interest groups that you can be part of. And see, contribution to Kubernetes is something that you have to give some time to yourself to understand, first the basics of Kubernetes, what Kubernetes is. For that, you can do my workshop. That
Yep.
is completely free, and yeah, shameless plug, I know that. But yeah,
Yeah, no,
it's
but by the way, those who didn't know, it touches around 1 million views today, for the Kubernetes one. So please watch. By the way, I really love that particular talk. So please go,
right.
folks. I will, by the way, all the links are in the description. So please go, you subscribe to Kubesimplify, and you get a lot of awesome channel around that. But yeah, you can continue, Sayam. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for the shout outs. The issue here is people feel overwhelmed, which is okay. Like, you don't feel that you are on the back foot when you see something like Kubernetes. It happens with everyone. Like, it's normal. It's totally normal thing. When you see the landscape and you get mind blown, it's completely normal. If you are not getting mind blown, then probably you need to see what's wrong because you should be confused. You should be, what to do, man. I have seen so many stuff. There are like tens and thousands of projects. What to do? Where to go? You should have that feeling. That's completely normal feeling. You don't have to feel anything like, I am feeling something special. No, it's very common and you have to feel that. Now, to come out of that bubble, there are a few things that you can do. There are a few talks that exactly teaches what it takes from a single, like what it takes to create a PR and get it merged. So there are talks
Yep.
on that. I don't have links handy, but there are talks on YouTube by the contributors themselves. Then how you can actually be part of the six. Um,
Yep.
Try to attend KubeCon. Obviously, it's not everyone's cup of tea to travel a long way and go and all that stuff. Completely okay. Watch the recordings. Be involved in the
Yep.
community. By being involved in the community, see the thing is, as students, I I have seen so many students who started and they becoming the maintainers of different projects. Like they were regular people who didn't know Kubernetes, and they started slowly and contributed, and then they became the maintainers. I mean, there are so many examples within India itself. So I think anybody can do it. There's nothing that you should not be able to, you know, not be able to do it and things like that. Now, so watch these talks and watch all that stuff. Now, as you have the highest enthusiasm because you are working in college and you have the highest level of energy at this age, I think that's where you need to put all these energies in getting involved in the community, attending those sick calls, late night calls, early morning
Yep.
calls. I mean, why not do that? And that builds up, that makes you learning. Like, you don't have
Yep.
to. I mean, you have to set your perspective again, coming from the same community stuff. If your perspective is only, you know, like, I just want to be there for namesake and all these things, and that's a
Yep.
different story. If your perspective is really like, I want to contribute to something that is even used in space. So if
Yep.
you have that set of mindset, then these projects are not hard to contribute. You easily can.
Yep, and like I can share my thing. Like I'm part of SIG and working group member of TensorFlow.js. There's the SIG meets will be on 5:30 a.m. And if I'm sleeping for 1 a.m., so I know like I have to wake up, because the thing is it's important for me. I can understand a lot of product insights, what they are thinking and what the product manager of TensorFlow is thinking to pull it off. So it also helps in a many ways. It just, again, the same thing I'm repeating. Please don't join a community for the sake of it because everyone is joining. If it doesn't make, if it not getting you can say learning perspective again, then, and again, if you're new to community, you're new to totally community culture, it's also okay, just in starting this, attend the meetups, understand how it's going, talk to organizers, talk to speakers. Maybe if you are knowing nothing about literally nothing about, even you didn't not know nothing about HTML CSS also, go for it, talk with them, take some resources from them and try to you. And again, implementation is really important. I can vouch for it, because without I can, like, I see many students or many folks come to me and they say I want to work on React. So I just ask, have you know the foundation basis of JavaScript? You have you know about the promises concept? Have you know of the async concept? So they say, Bhaiya, ye kya hota hai? So I firstly understood the foundation thing, and I can vouch for it. Why can I say for it? Like if we say like oops concept is just a side thing, we can't do it and like that. But from a ML perspective, if you want to build a small algorithm also, basic like gradient descent algorithm also, if you can't implement that thing using oops concept, or like you can't create a basic class of node kind of thing, then it's really important to know the foundation. But because on that basis only you can implement higher stuff also. That can I vouch for it because I contribute in that way. And initial I am not in that thing, I will say oops side karo, like nothing around that. But when I contributing to it, when I understanding the repositories around that, then I understood, found the college topic that you're seeing is really really important. OS, your DBMS, भले ही college में ना पढ़ाए, there is another thing, like they are not able teaching around that stuff, but you have to learn those stuff. I guess there is one more question from Harsh, I guess. I still got confused about Rust future. It got great opportunity support. It got great community support, but still many companies are using Go, Python, TypeScript. Looks like there are still some cons in it. Wanted to know your opinion. Sorry.
Okay, before I answer this question, that's pretty interesting question. I'll build a story around it. Before I answer this, there is you touched on this. You talked about one point that, if college doesn't teach it and something like that,
Yep.
some of the concepts. So I have one YouTube channel called Cube Simplify Hindi,
Yep.
and in that there is one
Yep.
video. There's one video which is specifically on college में पढ़ाई कैसे करें. तो
Yep.
if you understand Hindi, you should watch that particular video, how you can study in college. Then there is a video on remote jobs as well, where I demystify all the aspects, cut clear for remote jobs. So I think Keep Simple Hindi has some videos around the most kind of famous topics that people want to hear. So I think yeah, try those out. Can you bring the that question up for a second,
Yeah,
Harsh?
sure.
Okay. So now the thing is, the I mean, I can give you the list of projects which are built in Rust. But what I want to cross question over here is, don't get me wrong. The problem is how you come to this conclusion that there is still many companies using Go and Python and not Rust. Like, what stats you are referring, which websites you are referring, which
Yep.
surveys you are referring, that has given you this conclusion? Because this sounds to be a conclusion to me, that you have, you know, it's it has got a great community, but still many companies are using Go and Python. Means you know it, and I just want to ask how you know it. Like, has somebody told you? If yes, then that's something you should have researched first. It's not true.
Yep.
If you have researched something, then probably um, I would like to get enlightened, because I haven't seen it. Go is there as the foundation of the CNCF projects. Yes, agree. There is a world outside of cloud native. There are projects outside of cloud native. So if you are only talking about the cloud native bubble, yes, most of them are still in Go. Many new, I repeat again, many new are getting built in Rust. I can give you a few examples, like if you know about Maya Store from OpenEBS, pretty dope project is written in Rust. If you know about Firecracker that everyone uses for micro VMs and stuff, it's written in Rust.
Yep.
You know, WASM Edge is written in Rust.
Yep.
So I
True.
think the like very dope and very huge and very big projects are written in Rust. So it's nothing like that. It's not there, and companies are not looking. Like, many companies are doing it. Influx DB's whole entire engine they rewrote in Rust.
Yep.
So the thing is, and why would they do it, right? It was working fine in Golang and stuff. Then why would they do it? They did. So Rust is pretty dope. Again, the company's approach totally depends on whom they have hired. See, for
Yep.
anyone to start, like, you have senior software engineers, you have architects and stuff like that. Okay, you have many projects in a company that is working. Suddenly, you can't introduce Rust and do next set of projects on Rust. You don't have resources for that. You have to train. You have to allocate resources. You have to convince the VCs, venture capitalists, to make them believe that next set of projects will be doing Rust. Hire more people who know Rust, and then things go. So, see, there is a whole chain that has to be done before the companies, do this major switch. The
Yep.
many new startups that foundationally are Rust, they have good opportunities. So you aim for those opportunities. You see those projects that are being built in Rust. But saying that there are still some cons. There's no con as such. It's something you can build cool stuff with, and
Yep.
you should. And WebAssembly
Even like,
loves it. So I
true.
can say
Like,
that.
if you see any project in WebAssembly, it's totally built off Rust. And if you want to go for the fintech also, I guess JustPay has an open source project called HyperSwitch. Even I contributed to in that. It's one of the best you can say around that. It is totally written on the Rust, and the community is also great. Also, if you want to contribute in the payment orchestrator of JustPay company, name is HyperSwitch. You can contribute to it. Beginner friendly issues also there. And by the way, I also contribute to the VMware project called WASM Server Worker. Actually, I'm a part of release team also for that, and I didn't know Rust at all. I used two tools, ChatGPT and Google Bard, and I contributed in single, like in the 3 to 4 days. I can bet on that. Like, you can contribute easily. It's nothing like, but yeah, I started reading. You can say Rust basically on through proper documentation. and I get so a lot of insights around that, how Rust actually built off. So yeah, so basically around it. And I guess it's a very long time for me also. And thanks, Sayyam, basically for sharing your insights. And it's always love to listen you. And I'm also a listener at this point while you're sharing more stuff around it. So thank you so much. And
Pleasure is all
just final
mine.
shout
Thanks for calling me.
and final shout out, please follow Sayyam. This is a Twitter link that I pinned down. And also in the chat section, I also pinned down. So please follow it. And if you have, and by the way, we have also giveaways going on. So if you feel like you can write a blog on this whole stream, and if you think like your content is good, we will reach out to you on that basis, maybe through Twitter. So again, and last but not the least, again, thank you, Sayyam, for taking your from busy schedule. Thank you for taking your time and share your insights. I hope so. A lot of people get a lot of insights around on a different perspective. So thank you so much for that.
Yep. Just to answer this one, that's good, Harsh. That's a good point that you brought. Again, when I talk about WebAssembly, it's good, but that doesn't mean it can do everything. When you talk about
Yeah.
Rust, it's good, but that doesn't mean it can do everything. So that depends on what type of project people are trying to migrate and switch, and if they have faced a certain number of issues, and that that specific challenges that they might be looking. So that is case to case basis. But when you talk overall about the language, it's there are projects that are being written, there are like production ready, production use projects that are being written in Rust. So that I can tell. But yes, on your point that there are things that it's not directly portable, or you cannot switch exactly, you have to rewrite some part works, some part doesn't works.
Yep.
So all those things will be there. So it's not like it's a replacement for everything. No, it's not. But for specific use cases and good use cases, it
Yep.
is something that you can start writing cool stuff in performance heavy optimization. Like people still use Java, right? There's nothing wrong in that.
Yep.
So people still use Java, people still use C++, people still use low level programming languages. So
Yeah.
it's, and anybody you ask, like they don't like Java. I'm not anybody, but many people who have written a lot of Java and who have done a lot of Go, they will say,
Yep.
oh, I don't want to write Java again. But still, people are writing in Java. They haven't fully switched to
Yep.
Go. What's the problem with Go? Is Go not suitable? No, Go is there. Go has its own area, and Java still has its own area. Not everything is portable. Not
Yep.
everything is, directly switchable. So I hope that clears up and clears up your doubt, Harsh. Thank you again,
Cool,
Kartiki, for
man.
inviting me. It was a good chat, and yeah, see you next time.
And yeah, just giving a last pointer, those who like, we also involved WASM, H and Fermion. So we also did some past live stream where the kind of hands-on, proper hands-on. So if you want to understand other projects also, you can watch those live stream also. And again, thank you. And I guess we are on the time, so we have to left this stream. So thank you folks for joining, and thanks again, Sayyam, for being part of the stream. It's really great insight for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, see ya folks. Bye bye. And we'll see you on the tomorrow stream on Vesemir. So yeah, I hope so. It went well. So great. See you folks.